Hi, I'm Curtis Knight. Thanks for watching. Today we're talking about in a real estate transaction, there are several components to it, and your dream team is usually your real estate agent, your attorney, and your loan officer. So the loan officer gives you two components to your transaction that are very important, and they're ones that we wait for. So when your contract is submitted and you put in your offer, your contract to purchase real estate, it says in that contract that the commitment date will be such, and then clear to close will be another date. So commitment date and clear to close date. So clear to close usually isn't in the contract to purchase real estate, but commitment date always is. And the commitment date is something everybody's waiting for. The real estate agents, both the buyer agent and the seller agent, are like, come on, come on, come on. And the buyer is, come on, and the seller, come on, and the loan officer. And the reason is, the commitment date, that term that is written into the contract, in the buyer contract, when the buyer agent puts it together for the buyer, then sends it over, the buyer signs it, either digitally or wet sign with a wet ink pen, and then we send the offer over. It says the commitment date by which the buyer will have received a letter of commitment from the lender will be this date. So pulling one out of the air, to give you what feels like a real example, if today, what's today? Today's July 2. So let's say July 2, the offer is accepted. These days, closing is about, with I'd say the majority of transactions, it's about 30 days, give or take. Some are 15, some are 20, some are 35, some are 45. The average used to be 45 days. It has now gotten down to around 30 days. So commitment date is usually about 7 days before we sit down and have the closing. So everybody kind of knows that. When I say everybody, I'm talking about the real estate buyer agent, the real estate seller agent. Both of us know exactly what commitment date is, and the lender knows fully well what it is as well. So then we inform the buyer. They say you have to have your commitment on or before, so we're looking at July 2 right now as I'm making this video. So that means, just rough math, August 2 is going to be closing. And if I look and it's a Saturday or a Sunday, I'll move it and say, oh, it has to be the 3rd or the 4th because this date falls on a Saturday or Sunday. So banking on the fact that August 2 is a Sunday, I'm not looking at a calendar, not very good preparation on my part. So the commitment date is usually 7 days before closing. So if today is July 2 and we just had everybody sign the contract, all parties here too have affixed their legal signature to the instrument, to the legal instrument. Now we look at it and it says closing date will be August 2, and commitment date, the date by which the lender has to send a letter over, and they usually do it attached to an email as a PDF document. And it says, "Dear buyer name, congratulations, this is our letter of commitment. You have made it through underwriting." Underwriting is another word for heavy-duty investigation to make sure you can pay your bills. You've made it through underwriting. We have completely checked you out. You have fulfilled almost every single benchmark, and we are hereby offering you this letter of commitment. And that means you're getting your loan. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes they say, we're very sorry, we found a few things that put you outside our ability to offer you a loan, so you don't get your loan. But in a majority of cases, commitment day is a big deal, and we're waiting for commitment day, waiting for commitment day. So in that commitment letter, it says this commitment letter is contingent on the following items, and then it will be hyphen, 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 and it will say, providing one more paycheck stub from where you work. Just little silly things. We need just these little teeny dot the I, cross the T's, and they're always basic little things, and it will say this commitment letter will be 100% valid once these things are taken care of. And then you have your little tiny bullet list with your hyphens. So you can get it done usually within an hour, and you send them over that extra paperwork that they're waiting for. And then you've satisfied the commitments, you satisfied the bullet list items that are in the commitment letter. So what comes between commitment letter and closing? Commitment letter is 7 days before closing, and then sometime between when you get your commitment letter attached to an email, and sometime between then and closing day, you're going to get what is known as CTC, Clear to Close. Clear to Close is a huge deal because Clear to Close is the cherry on top of the sundae. You get your commitment letter, and that's cause for running around the room and jumping up on the furniture. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's so exciting. But then you have to do those little tiny things, fulfill those little benchmark items, and then you get Clear to Close. And the lender sends out an email to both attorneys, the buyer attorney, the seller attorney, and both agents, the buyer agent and the seller agent, and the buyer or buyers, and then the seller agent will forward it to the seller. And it just says, congratulations everybody, we have Clear to Close. And Clear to Close simply means there is nothing else left to be done. Everything is done. And we're just sitting around tapping our fingers on the desk. We're just waiting for closing day. And that's it. We have Clear to Close. And when I talk to the guy that I do a lot of loans with, he'll say, Curto, we have CTC. And I'll say, love you, bro. Because CTC is the big deal, Clear to Close. That means nothing is stopping this transaction, and we are green for landing.